you also mentioned it, Roger. Boaz literally means strength. Yeah, in
Right.
him is strength.
Right.
Basically, what it means. In him is
Exactly.
strength. What's Boaz? And Jack, and it means God will establish. He will establish.
Hmm.
So when Solomon built this temple, he raised two pillars, named the left and the right such. He could just be dedicating it to God in with these pillars, and may have nothing to do with the character Boaz in earlier times.
Well, I'm wondering if that character was actually named Boaz too, because it's been historically known where, well, you can see it if you do the research, where you'll see that these people are being named after the things that they did in their life. You know what I'm saying? I was just talking to
Yeah,
Mark,
yeah, yeah. You mentioned that. Yeah, yeah.
Mark about that, like the name
Yeah,
Arpad.
that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Just like Saul was renamed Paul,
Hmm.
and Abraham was renamed Abraham. So they are renamed for their mission, for the mission that they are called to.
Right.
Uh,
It's
but that's a far, far, far-reaching conclusion to say this Boaz, named after the pillar, has anything to do with Boaz the character.
Oh, I guarantee it does. The line of David was very, very important. Very important.
Well, then, who is Jackin?
You tell me.
There's no such.
I no, I told you. I've checked it out too. I don't know who he is. I
No
have
such
no
thing. There's
clue.
no such person.
What if there was? Okay,
I
now
mean, it's
it's
not recorded.
What do you mean? What if there
If it
was?
was, any of any importance, it would have been recorded.
it could have been lost. You realize how many times before Christianity came along that the Jews had freaking revised the Old Testament? They'd done it
Yeah,
twice.
but I believe that the Bible is preserved, even though it gone through all these revisions. The core truth is reserved,
Right,
protected by the Holy Spirit.
but some of the stories are left out to protect the innocents. You know, it's just like we were talking about.
No, I mean, if they're left out, then it means they're not important.
Oh, is that what that means?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
if God writes a story, you think He would hide stuff from you?
Not God.
Yeah.
God, you could argue
God,
that God
God wrote the Bible through human
wrote
hands.
the Bible, but man interpreted the Bible.
Right. That's kind
So
of what I was getting at. He didn't
yeah.
want to hear that. He's getting stubborn. He didn't want to hear that.
No, no. I mean,
Well, I
uh,
mean, the see,
wow. What the Bible
okay,
is written, how it's
here,
written,
here,
interpretation is up to something else
here,
outside. It's not, the
here's a good
Bible doesn't interpret itself.
hold on. Here's a good example of what I'm talking about. Like you've done it, and I've heard a lot of Christians do this. They take credit for how freaking close the Bible was to the Dead Sea Scrolls, which that's cool. But then they leave out simple details. They leave out the detail that the Book of Enoch was in the Dead Sea Scrolls. There was also a freaking copper freaking template which stated that there was treasures that was hidden all over the Middle East in the Dead Sea Scrolls. They have freaking all of these other writings that aren't a part of the Old Testament that are in the Dead Sea Scrolls, but that's never mentioned. You know what I mean? At all. It's like,
Why do you think? Why would you think the Bible needs to mention about treasures hidden all over the world?
no, I'm talking about Christians today who talk about the Dead Sea Scrolls. They don't want to mention the fact that the Book of Enoch was there, that the emerald or the bronze tablet was there, that all of these other things, they want to make it known to you is that it comes really, really close to the Bible we have today. So we were right there on task. We did everything we were supposed to do. They don't bother to tell you what was taken out. Okay. As a matter of fact, all of these books, like the book of Talbot, the book of Enoch, or the book of Enoch, all of these, the people back then actually read those books and believed in those books just as much as the Bible that you're reading today. Okay. But for some reason now, these churches believe that that's all not a part of Christianity.
It's not now. The canon of the Bible was established very early in the life of the church. Not now, not just now. I'm pretty sure they were aware that the existence of these other books out there. You think they don't know?
Well, they knew that's the reason why they had to bury all those books, is
No,
because
they knew and they rejected it. That's why the canon is what it is now.
If they didn't coincide with the canon, they were put to death, and the books were destroyed. So they had to be hidden, and the people who believed in those books had to keep quiet, or they would have died because of it. You see, so
that's your theory, right?
No, that's fact. That's what took place.
Who died because of they kept some books secret from the church?
They kept every person who was put to death because of freaking the early church going on their rampage and murdering people. Hypatia was one of them. She believed in astrology, and Eusebius ended up causing riots within Alexandria because of his rhetoric. So mobs of Christians drug her out into the street and dismembered her and then burned her body because of her beliefs. And then they went into the Egyptian temples. They desecrated all of the ancient Egyptian artifacts and put Christian artifacts in their place.
Well, I believe the Bible is the way it is because it's being protected by the Holy Spirit Himself. So there's no such thing as somebody taking something out, rewriting it as something different. Maybe when the scribe were copying from one manuscript to another, they may have made some mistake, but the core truth that is being recorded is still there. And it's consistent if you look at the whole Bible together. If you correlate one book with another, somehow they are cohesive when taken as a whole story.
Yeah. Now, if you take a look at like the Book of Enoch and you compare that with the actual Bible, you can see the correlation, like you're saying right there. I just think that it got into a really hectic area. You know what I'm saying? Like I was talking to you earlier about the Book of Adam. Okay. Now, I can see early Christians reading that and saying, look, that's just not going to happen. We aren't going to be going there, because they literally freaking talk about the rape of Eve by the archons, okay? And this is some pretty freaking crazy stuff, you know what I'm saying? And I don't see any early Christians wanting that anywhere around their Bible. So,
if there's that perverse, if the writing is that twisted,
yeah.
why would there be any hint of Christian truth in it?
Well, the Gnostics is a blend of Egyptian and Christian belief systems from Alexandria. And this is in the 5th dynasty, I believe, is when that took place. It might have been after the dynasties altogether, for all I know. But I know that that's when Gnosticism took place, and that's what it was. It was a melding of Egyptian belief systems during that time period with the Christian beliefs, and they get really like. Have you ever read any ancient Egyptian stuff? They're
No.
they're really methodical about everything. You know what I mean? They have to have an explanation for this and then this. And then that's the reason why a lot of their deities have like a dog head, and then they turn around and they'll mix it up and they'll have two deities blended together, like Amun Ra. You know, Amun was a deity and then Ra was a separate deity, but they combined them together. You know what I mean? So they had a
Do you
tenant.
think that
Oh, go ahead.
you think that those deities that like human body with Godhead, they're actually such a thing, or is that just a human wearing a headdress that has the look shape of a dog because they worship the animal?
Well, you know, if you look at it this way, like I've watched Ancient Aliens, and they have this idea that these people are wearing like space uniforms, or freaking they have like a mask on. Okay, and I often think about that old TV show Grimm when I think about this too. You know, like when you're looking at those hieroglyphs, what if what they're really showing you is that this deity transforms into this animal? What if the dog face was actually this god transforming into a dog?
No, I think it's just a human wearing a headdress, a face cover that looks like a face of a dog. It's
So,
basically a mask.
so you're more of a Stargate kind of guy.
Yeah, Star Trek kind
So,
of.
arguably, we'll just got a point. I'm just thinking of isn't it Zeus and transforming into a bull?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. Never even thought about that.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But that's Greek though. It's not Egypt.
yeah,
Yeah,
there could
yeah.
be a connection there. Look at what's his name? Oh God, Zeus's brother. Not Neptune. What's his name? He's the god of the sea.
Uh,
Poseidon. Okay,
yeah.
Poseidon was god of the horses. He what's his name? He's actually the father of Pegasus. So that means he's had sex
Oh,
with a
really?
horse. Yeah. Pegasus is his child. So that means he intermingled with horses.
Wait. Now I'm seeing where maybe the people who wrote the Book of Enoch were Greeks.
Well, you don't really think Romans are the ones who wrote freaking the Bible, right? You know, I mean, it's just putting it out there, you know. I mean, I think the biggest mistake when it comes to the Christian Bible is when they translated the freaking Greek into Latin. You know, like because they do not mix.
You are sort of suggesting that the Bible was written at a single time.
Aramaic, man.